At the end of the last episode, the jungle became restless with the defeat of the 3 mechanical bosses. And although I can't do anything about that just yet, does it involve defeating a boss? Yes, as everything in Terraria does. I am still going into the jungle to get some good usage out of the new drill that I created, because there's been this ore that's been slowly growing in the jungle since the start of hard mode, but I haven't been able to do anything about until now. Chlorophyte ore. This is going to be the final major mining session of the game as I try to get as much of this stuff as possible. Sure, I might have just crafted a set of hallow armor from the mechanical bars, or the hallow bars that I got from the mechanical bosses, but this one is already a pretty good upgrade, giving me increased defense and a pretty cool ability when I get a full set of it. And as well as, after I defeat a couple more bosses, I can combine it with some other materials to create some very specialized ranged and magic sets, which are all pretty cool. I'll probably just end up getting the one that improves, guns by the end of this. But there's also stuff like one that gives you a lifesteal mage set of armor, one that improves rocket weaponry, which I don't even think I've gotten any of yet. But yeah, that Mega Shark is really good. And by the way, was that a pumpkin house? Yes. I needed a little bit more permanent residence for all of the fishing that I need to do in the Hallow biome. Like one of the potions you get from Hallow biome fish it gives you straight 20% max health for 10 minutes. You need those things. Why was it pumpkin? I didn't make a house out of that yet, so I don't know. Why not? It's fun. You can set up a jack-o'-lantern and everything. Well, anyway, yeah, Chlorophyte ore. It is, as its name would imply, it is kind of... Boy, the jungle in hard mode is very frustrating to deal with. Especially when all I want to do is just get out. At least this is very easy to find compared to other ores. But yeah, as its name would imply, it's sort of plant-like. So what happens is that it will actually grow in the mud and slowly kind of spread out as you leave it alone. Creating very large deposits that just become larger over time. Which is good because, like I said, you're going to want a lot of this stuff. Not only is it great for building a whole lot of great armor, the bullets that you can create with this home in on enemies, and that makes it one of my favorite types of ammo to use. Another thing that started to appear with the defeat of the mechanical bosses is life fruit. Life fruit, which you might have actually seen already a couple times that I missed as I was walking right past it. I mean, here I'm coming up on one right now. Looks like a little plant that contains a heart in it, and when you use the life fruit that you get for destroying that, it ups your max health by 5 more for a grand total, eventually, of getting, 500 total HP, which will turn my bar entirely yellow once I get all of those. It's not too difficult with a bunch of, because first off, I'm going to be getting a lot of that just going after the Chlorophyte ore, but also it's very easy to find with a Spelunker potion. Eventually, much like unlike the heart crystals, I also can't use it to craft up a whole bunch of heart lanterns. That's really just good for money after you get all of the, after you fill up your HP bar. So I'm not really, in a rush to get all of those. I'll end up with way more life fruit than I need by the end of this. All right, so after those, 2 sessions, I guess, technically, because I did die halfway through that, built up enough Chlorophyte bars to create an entire set of armor. And there's also a couple other new items. I mean, sure, I could go for an upgrade for my drill or get a jackhammer, which I think is the only example of a high-powered hammer in the entire game, the Chlorophyte one. But no, obviously I want to get the armor first before anything else, and then probably just save the rest of it for bullets, like I was saying. Yeah, the ability of this one might not be quite as good as the Hallow armor, giving you the occasional dodge of attacks, but it does give you this leaf crystal that will automatically shoot at enemies that are around you, and having a little bit of passive source of damage like that is very nice. All right, well, now that I don't really need to go after Chlorophyte for now, I'm probably going to want to get a whole lot of it later, but I don't necessarily need to do that on screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start building up arena for the next boss. You see that big glowing pink flower bulb over there? Well, once you break that, well, that's the thing that's been making the jungle grow restless, and it will immediately try to attack you. And unfortunately, I can't just go up to my giant sky bridge with all of the asphalt blocks, because it will become instantly enraged if you take them out of the jungle and brutally murder you, especially at this point in the game. So, yeah, gotta get down here in the jungle and gotta deal with these horrible, horrible enemies all over the place. How many turtles can possibly be living in here? Well, as soon as I actually get the arena created, it's gonna be a lot easier to fight enemies, etc. and so on, as you know. I mean, you saw me, even though I didn't get too much use out of that arena last time, I still was able to defeat that one Crimson Mimic very easily when I was done crafting it, so yeah. Well, anyway, the entire idea here is just gigantic open arena, as usual. Want to be able to kind of like fly around in circles, sort of Skeletron style. And then for the second phase, it's of the boss, I'm going to want to set up another teleportation type of area. Yeah, it's... These two tactics are pretty much the thing that will be... It's that and just run in a straight line away from bosses. They're going to be kind of your main strategies for defeating enemies in hard mode and especially in master mode. So yeah, I died there, but I decided to skip ahead quite a bit. Got all my flesh platforms. Yeah, I alluded to like the whole flesh items earlier on. Make those out of crimstone blocks and a meat grinder, which is dropped from crimson specific enemies at like 0.01%. I think you can even see it in the solar eclipse. Great. You can even see the meat grinder in my very fancy looking Skyware block housing unit that I created over there now. It's much nicer than having everything on just like a big veranda like that. I think it's very stylish looking, especially with the Skeletron relic on top of it too. Well, anyway, yeah, solar eclipse. Solar eclipse. I think that solar eclipse also came like literally directly after a blood moon. Like I was finishing crafting this entire arena, and it's like there was a blood moon going on, but that doesn't matter because somebody said last time that it doesn't seem like the spawn rates are higher in master mode, or at least I couldn't find any information on that. It's probably just because it takes so much longer to kill enemies that it just allows more enemies to spawn. Who knows? Well, anyway, with the defeat of each one of the mechanical bosses, there is a little bit more stuff going on, but maybe even more importantly than that, I also managed to get enough various drops of debuff preventing accessories to finally combo them into one super accessory. At the very beginning... Oh, also, yeah, that was another thing I got here. Goes through walls, so when I don't feel like wasting a bunch of ammo and I just want to hole up in the house, pretty effective at taking out the dudes. But yeah, at the very beginning of hard mode, I got like a fast clock, which prevents slow, and slowly but surely I was able to get the rest of them just kind of like going around in the game. Yeah, there's Mothron. I said before that there's a specific mini-boss that spawns a little bit later on in the eclipse, and finally, she's finally making her appearance. Obvious reference to Godzilla, and well, drops some pretty good stuff, but still goes through walls, which means I can't just hole up in a single house the entire night. And does quite a bit of damage too. Is quite fast, but with the thankfully with the black spot, didn't have to worry too much about that. And yeah, there was a nice artful little edit there as I had to walk away from the computer for like 10 minutes straight. Well, anyway, now that I got all the stuff required to make that super item like I was talking about, here we go. The Ankh Shield. It prevents most debuffs in the game, and good lord is that so important. Also got to see Mothron, also got the Death Sickle, which will be a nice melee weapon for dealing with a lot of events pretty safely. Overall, despite the fact that I was kind of annoyed to see this, especially immediately after a blood moon, it was actually a pretty good set of things that was able to happen there. and maybe this is not the best time to be reforging stuff, but right before my Goblin Tinkerer died, he did manage to get the warding modifier on it. +4 defense, maximum amount of defense you can get, which I think is only fitting for the shield. His death was not in vain. Well, I mean, I could have just waited until the event was done, but... Well, anyway, that is a pretty big upgrade. Not having to worry about, like, slowing, bleeding, cursing, which is pretty rare to get, but definitely does appear. Prevents you from attacking, I think, entirely when you do that. Actually managed to get the thing that prevented that, the Nazar, very quickly in the game when I was farming down in the underground Crimson. One of those flying, glowing weapons, the like axe thing, managed to drop it, and that's not a super common thing. Usually you have to like go and farm forever in the dungeon with those flying skulls to manage to get that. But it's like everything else, you'll usually kind of like find. Bats drop the trifold map pretty regularly. The armor polish is dropped by each one of those armored warrior skeletons, as well as a lot of characters in the dungeon, and yet for some reason that was the last one that I got. Pixies drop the clock. The megaphone to prevent silence is dropped by like biome-specific mummies, etc. and so on. It's something that takes a while to get, but it's totally worth doing because you probably already have the Cobalt Shield or Obsidian Shield, you know, there. So just being able to get a straight upgrade for that, it's the same sort of thing when I was talking about like the having an upgrade for the Lucky Horseshoe. You're probably already using the Lucky Horseshoe because fall damage is annoying, and here's something that just entirely replaces it. Any sort of wings. Oh yeah, that was also like the first appearance, I think, of the Skeleton Merchant. I don't remember if I've seen that dude before. Just kind of randomly appears on the ground, can sell some good stuff, including a yo-yo glove, which, if you're one to be using yo-yos, is a very good upgrade. It basically doubles your output with that. All right, arena's built. Here comes Plantera. Is it a reference to Pantera? Yes. Yes, it is. And of course, in my arena immediately gets attacked by a bunch of skeletons down there too, because that's just the sort of thing that happens. All right, Plantera, phase 1, kind of difficult. Basically what it does is it just kind of runs after you shooting seeds. On normal mode, those seeds do not go through walls. On expert and master mode, those seeds do go through walls, which is why I needed a really big arena to kind of go around in a circle, because that's going to be the best way to deal with that. And if you're wondering, yes, those claws do damage to you, and quite a bit, so make sure you're not getting hit by them. But aside from that, the first phase is pretty simple. Plantera is slow, and as long as you're not accidentally getting hit by the claws, you should be okay. You do occasionally get those bouncing balls down there, but, I mean, if you have a large enough arena, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't quite have a large enough arena, but I dealt with it somehow anyway. You want to have like a really large bottom area. But then the problems come in when you get Plantera down to half health. All right, phase 2, and this is where it gets real rough. As much as I was saying, I do like having the, especially that. As much as I was saying that I do like having the Chlorophyte bullets for their homing, they will just home in on those extra little mouth things that are spawned from Plantera and her claws. So you really want to take some like crystal bullets here instead. And then teleporting around is just important because Plantera moves much, much faster. Now the problem with this strategy, and the reason that I set up 2 different teleporter pad systems, is because for whatever reason Plantera's hooks like to hook directly on top of the teleporter pads, maybe being the only boss in the game that can actually counter this strategy pretty well. But since I have 2 of them, I just, you know, switch up my vertical level whenever I see that she's trying to block me by throwing the claws on there. It's a little bit close, but, you know, I'd say it's a pretty safe strategy. Ah, boy, getting less safe over time. But Plantera's almost down as long as I can kind of, you know, swing around here enough. The little miniature things that she has surrounding her and her claws, mouth things, they look kind of like the hungry enemies that you get when fighting the Wall of the Flesh. It's like are annoying, and like I said, will block like a lot of your shots and kind of prevent you from getting in there very easily. But, you know, if you're teleporting around, and especially if you have bullets that split like the crystal bullets, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, probably the next biggest hurdle you're going to run into, defeating Plantera. But this, I probably should have gone with like 3 layers of teleporters, because she was blocking both of the teleporters a couple times there. But it worked out just fine anyway. Well, anyway, with the defeat of Plantera, there's another NPC that I want to get to move in here. Doesn't actually come with the defeat of Plantera. You can technically get this dude at the very start of hard mode. It's just, he doesn't sell anything of much interest until you defeat Plantera. So I kind of waited until now, because this NPC has some very specific requirements to spawn. It's not just any house that he's going to move into. What you have to do is, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally get some good usage out of the glowing mushroom grass seeds. You've seen the glowing mushroom grass biome underground quite a bit, you know, as I was getting like all the truffle worms and in general just farming up stuff for doing a lot of alchemy. But it doesn't actually appear above ground. No, the only way that you can even get this biome is by manually creating it yourself. And that requires a lot of mud blocks, and that requires at least 1 mushroom grass seed, because unlike, say, Crimson, Corruption, Hollow, it does not, like, corrupt things. It has to, like, grow by you putting down seeds onto mud specifically. And thankfully, because I spent so much time in there, I actually got a lot of seeds to make that happen. So I just set up a pretty big area that will allow a bunch of mushrooms to, 1, grow on there, and 2, will definitely count this as a biome by the time it fills in a little bit more. And then I'm just going to dress it up with a bunch of mushroom furniture and everything, because I don't know, and I got the stuff for it. I was talking about earlier how I needed a lot of these things for later upgrades, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Remember when I said the Chlorophyte ore was going to can be combined with some materials to create like further upgrades? Here we go. Combining them with mushrooms. This is going to be the upgrade for yeah, what is it? The ranged stuff. Another one of the items that the steampunker sells. Steampunker sells so many good things. It's so worthwhile to try and defeat one of the mechanical bosses immediately. You get the asphalt blocks, you get the teleporters, and you also get the contaminator, which can just destroy or spread biomes depending on what sort of solution you're using with it. It's an amazingly good get, even though it does cost 2 platinum to get. And then, yeah, you had to go back and get the money to actually afford the auto hammer. But with this thing, I can now combine my mushrooms and my chlorophyte bar to create shroomite bars. And with shroomite armor, I get another really huge upgrade. Lets you turn invisible and get like hugely increased damage and critical strike. A lot of good stuff. Oh, and you can also see the upgraded summoning staff that I got from Plantera there too. Little tiki guys. So overall, like a lot of great stuff happening here. I'm glad that I was able to beat Plantera that easily. And now a little bit more live commentary. It's been a little while since I've done that because, well, it was a lot of fights. A lot of fights that took me many, many tries to do. And to be honest, this is probably going to be the last section that I do live because that's going to be the rest of the game as well. So beating up Plantera, I did manage to get a new summon staff, but that has already been outclassed by a deadly sphere staff, which I got during the... well, one of the many, many eclipses that happened. I don't really know what the deal is, but like it's just been blood moons and eclipses the entire time here. And I did get something that technically could have been an upgrade to my Mega Shark. The Venus Magnum that I got from Plantera probably does do better damage, but it is not an automatic weapon. I would need to click every single time I want to use that. So even as fast as it was, it's not... it would just be way too annoying to do. Also like the Golden House. Yeah, it's, this is what those Sky Islands looked like before they were updated to have these much nicer looking blocks. But, I thought maybe dress it up like the pirate stuff because they give you all those goldenite. I don't know. It's horrible, but I guess I'm stuck with it now. Alright, so the other stuff that Plantera dropped was the Temple Key, which is going to be important for finally getting into the temple. I got a little bit of a taste of that early on when I was kind of exploring the jungle. One of the chests spawned outside of there, gave me like one of the special forges that you can get from that place, and, well, just the usual chest rewards, but, you know, at the same time, can't really do much of that until I get a little bit deeper into there. You can't get deeper in there until you get the temple key, which drops from them. That's also going to be the next boss I'm going to encounter, but first, one of the other things that it said when Plantera was defeated was that there are screams echoing from the dungeon. That's right, the dungeon has changed up to be even more frustrating than it was before. I told you there was good reason why I wanted to get rid of all those water candles immediately, and, well. But doing all that farming in the Crimson did manage to get me a very special key. Unlocks a Crimson chest in the dungeon. And although I could find that Crimson chest, I couldn't actually do anything with it until I beat Plantera. It would say something along the lines of, this chest has been locked by a powerful dungeon, or a powerful jungle creature, and then, yeah. But now that Plantera's down, I guess I might as well go down here, kind of check out what's new with the dungeon, and also hopefully not die. There's a good chance that I'll die. That's the special hollow chest, which obviously not going to be doing that right now. Surprised I haven't met any of the new fellows appearing in here yet. I'm sure it's only a matter of time. But I do have the Chlorophyte bullets that I was talking about too, so it shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully. Homing goes a long way. I mean, like, look at this. It's some pretty severe tracking on enemies too. And that's good for, say, this guy. Yep, that's definitely one of the new ones. So is this mage guy that, is, as you can see, is warping around like crazy. Man, Bone Lee, go down already, please. I can't believe how much damage you're taking. Even with, like, the Chlorophyte armor and everything. I guess I should probably go invisible or something to get the maximum effect out of it, but still. I don't know when I died there, but yeah. Oh boy. Well, this is where like the scythe comes in. To see, like, look at that. I also did manage to get another thing with Plantera down. Mothron is now dropping some better items, which gives me stuff like this very good yo-yo. First time I'm using one of these things. And I did also spend the time to, oh man. I did also spend the time to craft up one of the really good yo-yo items from the skeleton merchant like I was talking about before. And that's another special enemy. Probably want to get rid of him quickly. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was talking before about, like, rocket-based items, and I don't think I could get those until I actually beat Plantera, and there was just a chance that she would drop one, and now I just got the one anyway. Well, anyway, I was saying that, like, yeah, special stuff that you get from the skeleton merchant, crafted it all together into a yo-yo bag, so I get 2 yo-yos for the price of 1, which ups the damage output of this a lot. And since it's already a post-Plantera weapon, it's doing good damage just by itself. Even though I am not built for melee at all, you can see I'm taking these dudes out easy. Which is good, because apparently my Mega Shark not quite as effective as I was hoping. So I guess the Eye of Cthulhu. For just such a Joe Schmo boss at this point in the game, does get a pretty good weapon. It's like, yeah, it is what I want to be using right now. It's got knockback, it's got damage, and that yo-yo bag that I made is clearly doing really good. That said, against some of the more frustrating mages, clearly I'm going to want to do this. Those things teleport around an awful lot, so I can't quite get the huge amount of damage from my yo-yo by itself. However, hey, you like all this new stuff. Wow, I'm getting very lucky when it comes to getting some of the new items that appear in here. Yes, what you're seeing is correct. But also, like, the Shadow Beam Staff does literally exactly what I just saw the mage doing. If you can bounce it a few times, it's pretty good, but I don't know. I mean, I think that, like, there's a few items in here that can be pretty alright. I want to say the rocket launcher is pretty good. Extra damage on a direct hit, explosive crossbow style. And here's another is this better? 109 versus 132? No, but like, man, the luck I'm getting with finding some of the items in here is something, isn't it? Valor, Karakin. And then, yeah, there's a lot of these new enemies, and each area, you'll know it by the wall, has like a different type of enemy that spawns in here. I think this is the area where I am finding like the rusty bones, which every one of these enemies does. Whoa, boy. Whoa, Nelly. Oh, it does bleeding damage. And then also enemies just in general have the ability to spawn ghosts, which give you ectoplasm. Which is kind of like that's the mage equivalent that I was talking about with as opposed to like the Shroomite armor. It can give you some pretty good stuff if you combine those with Chlorophyte bars. Of course, finding it can be a little bit difficult, but at least, hey, the spawn rate is just out of control in the dungeon, and you're going to be fighting a lot of dudes. Some very tough guys, like the Paladin here, who also has a chance of giving me something good. What is this luck? I don't know what the deal is, but... Well... that's the jungle chest. No, I need the crimson chest. Come on. That's really what I'm looking for right now, although with all the other stuff that's been dropping, it's like, yeah, ain't bad either. Is it better than the yo-yo? No, because the yo-yo is so easily controllable, gets that great synergy with the yo-yo bag, and everything like that. So I'm not really concerned about like switching that out as far as melee weapon goes. I'm going to be switching out anything. It's like stuff that will go through walls or stuff that, you know, I don't have to be directly in front of an enemy to fight with. That's what yo-yos, that's what like the Death Scythe offers. But yeah. It's like that is kind of like a weird thing to get. And I don't think works super well against bosses, having like huge range on enemies, especially with like teleporting around as I've been doing and all that. It's like that's the general build that I want to go for the really tough enemies. But for like regular dudes, especially when I'm going up against events or like trying to fight my way through the dungeon as I am right now, it's different. There's apparently a paladin again around here, which, I mean, it drops a lot of money and good stuff, but it's like it's good stuff for melee builds, and I already got some good stuff for melee builds. It's like I don't really need to worry too much about building that up then. What else we got? Just want to get my crimson chest and get out of here. Those keys can drop from an enemy in the biome, but just at a very, very incredibly low drop rate. So it's like managing to get one. It's like usually you gotta farm for quite a while before you even manage to see it. But since I got one right now, I might as well go try to find this chest here. In the past, I know the item that you actually get from it. It does have like your standard golden chest type of stuff. But also, man, I have so much armor right now that I'm taking 1 damage each time I fall on the spikes. With the Ankh Shield, I am completely immune to bleed, which is normally the other reason why you don't want to fall on that, so... Yeah, oh no, oh no, oh no. The Paladin does so much damage, you don't want to mess around with that, dude. He will rip your face off trivially. Another Shadow Beam Staff. Huh. Like, I don't even really want it, but I guess if the game's going to give it to me. Okay. The sickle will work out just fine. Anyway, in the meantime, it's weird trying to figure out exactly when the Paladin is going to hit you and when he's just going to be like, I'm going to sit here and die, I guess. Well, then I guess I'll just die. Get out of here. Not really planning to make like mage stuff, but I guess I might as well. No, it's right at the edge. And this second, oh no, Bone Lee once again. Okay. That dude might be real agile and do a lot of damage, but can't hook onto the wall, so I should be okay here. But God, look at the amount of damage that dude's taking. It's ridiculous. I mean, everything about the dungeon at this point is ridiculous. It used to be that you didn't actually have to beat Plantera to get like some of the special stuff in the dungeon, that all you need to do was just hard mode was just like this. And well, I mean, you can get some pretty good stuff is the thing from being in here, but yeah, now you actually have to beat like a really tough boss to do so, so it's not quite the same thing. Ah, he got me with that thing. Well, I have no idea where I have no idea where the chest is. So I guess I'm just not going to worry about that for right now. Because it's like, look, I saw enough really great stuff. I got like the rocket launcher, which is fun, but I'm not really going to worry too much about like dealing with that anymore. Or maybe I will. Okay, fine then. Whatever. Thanks, teleportation potion. I guess we're going to be doing this again. Hey, you never know when you're going to go when it comes to teleportation. I just wanted to roll the bones and see if something funny was going to happen, and it did. I don't know, whatever, man. It's not like I'm woefully unprepared for this or anything. It's just, it's a hard area. Straight up. Oh, Bonely. I can see him right there. Maybe I can take him out fast enough. There's like 3,000 health, which is quite a bit. No, get out of here too. The mages are really more than anything else the very dangerous enemies you're going to be encountering because, you know, they teleport around and everything like that. Whereas like all of the melee guys, you can deal with pretty easily. I keep forgetting that this is an auto swing weapon and I don't need to keep continuously clicking with it. Yeah, get the drill out here. Drill's whole thing is that it's faster than a pickaxe, but it is lower range, which makes it a little bit questionable to use. You can make a pickaxe or you can make a drill with like by the time you get to the Hallow stuff, and I think even by the time you get to just like Palladium and whatever armor. However, I like the drill. First off, I don't see a whole lot of drills. Oh man. Ah, here it comes. First off, I don't really see a whole lot of drills. A third Shadow Beam Staff. Man, I'm getting a lot of these things. There are more mages that exist in the dungeon, trust me, and they're all annoying in their own way. If anything, I'd say the Shadow Beam guy is... I'll take that. If anything, I'd say the Shadow Beam guy is probably one of the easier ones to fight. Come on. So low on health right now. No, don't die to the ghost of all things. That would just be embarrassing. Okay, well, at least I got my potion back up. There's nothing even up here. Ah, man. This is where, like, Spelunker Potion or something would come in handy. Maybe I'll do this and see if I can't find something. I don't know. Anything, just a bunch of bones. Bag of bones around here, and that's all. I'll take out the Scythe instead. Scythe won't have me using my Chlorophyte bullets, because, you know, as much as I don't really use a ton of those shooting around here, I use enough, and here it comes. And oh god, he's coming. This'll work. This is what I'm talking about, with stuff that goes through walls and everything being really nice to have. Again, I'm still forgetting that it has auto... I'm still forgetting that it has auto swing. It is important to remember. Can I get through here fast enough before anything starts attacking me again? Yeah, I think that blue armored bones is not going to be that fast. I don't think there's anything here though. Where is this chest? I just want to find... I just happened to come right back in here, so really I want to see if I can find it. That's it. Maybe I've already gone past it. Oh no, that's the desert chest. And that's the ice chest. Oh, that's all the other chests aside from the one that I'm actually looking for. Yeah, my stuff can go through walls too. I don't have any one of the other keys, so this is the only one that I'm going to be able to get. That's a hollow chest once again. I don't know. It's got to be somewhere around here. Gives you a pretty good item. Gives you a pretty good item, but it's like I don't know if it's really going to be all that useful. It was very good in earlier versions of the game. These days, I can't really say if it's quite up to snuff as it was before. But hey, you get that real dungeon experience, don't you, of just constantly dying all the time because the enemies in here are really tough and relentless. And just constant. Even as easy as I was taking down Plantera, some of these Skullamans are doing me dirty. Also stuff like dungeon sofas. Well, at least the skeletons have it, here it comes. At least the skeletons have it, have some nice accoutrements in here. Okay. I do see a paladin trying to come and kill me. But again, I have no idea how exactly that thing actually attempts to attack you or anything. It's like, if it actually wants to attack you, it will, and it will kill you. But I feel like more often than not, it just doesn't want to. No, I've already been down here. Danger Sense Potion would let me see through some of these, walls, but I didn't think of taking one with me, basically. I don't know. What if I just went over here? Can I just go down here, for example? Maybe? Yeah. Yeah? Can you not leave the dungeon? I don't actually know how this works. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to find that chest a little bit later. Although I do have one more teleport potion. I can give it an attempt. I can see if I can't find some. Maybe I'll end up back in the dungeon again. Or maybe I'll just end up nowhere. I don't know where I am. Apparently just like underground is the best way to put it. Yeah. No, with a little gem cave here. That's nice. Not that I'm too concerned about getting a lot of gems right now. No, there's not even like any sort of corruption or hallow down here or anything either. It's just kind of underground. Teleport potions are a weird thing, but they are fun to use sometimes if you happen to find one. Crafting them yourself is a little bit more frustrating, but at the same time, yeah, sure. I'm okay. Crafting them yourself is a little bit more of a thing, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's a good way to find yourself in a location that you normally wouldn't. Well, that was kind of a bust. Anyway, I'll shove this back in here. I'll go find that on my own time and show you what cool treasures await. But for right now, really, I'm just going to go actually use the more relevant thing. The Jungle Temple Door is something that you're going to find very early and find yourself completely unable to do anything with until now. That's why I'm going to do exactly that. I got this shaft that basically goes directly down to it from right here anyway, so it should at least just be a really quick hop and skip down here. And this will be kind of like the final exploration part of the game, as I was talking about. Oh, hey, there's a moth. That's where I actually got the upgraded wings that I'm using right now. Because I don't know when these things start spawning, but they drop something that allows you to craft up a form of wings that, much like every form of wings, is significantly better than the ones I was using previously. As always, as I was saying before, the leaf wings are ones that you just do because it's so easy to get, and that's it. You're not like, oh man, leaf wings, I gotta keep these things for the rest. No, it's just like you pay a platinum at the beginning of hard mode, and then you at least have some form of wings for some time, which is good. I do eventually need a lot of chlorophyte, period. I'm just gonna take this right now. While I'm here, the angry trapper I do not need. And I just don't even want to deal with. And then I'm going to leave. If I just go down far enough, I should find myself at Templetown, if I'm not mistaken. Get out of here, fairy. God, the fairy has not been relevant at all for a quite long time. Oh, a Bezoar. Well, I already got the Ankh Shield, so what does it matter? Where am I actually going right now? Is it up here? Yeah, I think it is. Oh, well, I'm about to die if I don't warp back right now anyway, so do that. Get over here. And this is the sort of thing that I liked cutting around when I was doing a lot of the post-commentary. And the fact that I was dying an awful lot. You know, stuff like the mechanical bosses did take many, many attempts to do. Well, the Destroyer did. Everything else, not nearly as much. It was actually a pretty straightforward fight up against, like, the Skeletron and especially the twins. I think the point that you saw me fight the twins, that was like the first time I fought the twins. And, you know, I was so well prepared for it and everything, especially with the teleporter. It's a very standard sort of strategy that comes up in hard mode. Oh, it's right here. I didn't even see it. A very standard strategy that comes up in hard mode, just using teleporters to your advantage because they're very good. But yeah, much like Chlorophyte, I am not able to... Get out of here, you. Much like Chlorophyte, I'm not able to dig through the temple walls themselves. However, soon enough, that won't be so true. That's why I need this key in the first place. But once I use that key... once I use that key, you won't even believe what's about to happen. Is it another boss? Yes, it's another boss. No, put away the torches. What are you doing? That's one of those annoying things where it's like, even after you stop holding down shift to put away the torches, if you're still holding down, like, the use key... God, just look down there. If you're still holding down the use key, it'll be like, oh, continue to use torches. And it's like, I don't have shift held down anymore. Yeah, but you are still, like, trying to put down torches, so we better keep putting down... Alright, anyway, this is some very annoying stuff that might come up if you play the game, but not if you're really watching it. I don't want to fight Plantera again, and I don't. That's a good way to die. You saw how well prepared and everything I had to be to even fight Plantera last time, and I still got pretty close to losing. Because of the whole, like, bad placement of the claws around there. And that's just kind of how that fight goes. Where it's like, even with the teleporters, sure, it's easier, but it's not like you're 100% going to win. And now at this point, this is actually a point in time that I want to offensively use my grand design. Before, I was using this to kind of like set up some contraptions for myself, but here I'm going to be using it to disable all of the traps in the temple. Which means that I won't be getting accosted by the many traps that appear in the temple. Oh, come on. Come on, come on. You hear that Metal Gear Solid death noise in the background. I don't know why they decided to put that as part of the soundtrack, but it's here, and that's what's happening. All right, come on. Almost done. I'm so close to being able to get myself into the temple. And then the fun begins. You know, the one time that you're able to... that you encounter any sort of locked door. Right here, baby. And then gonna be looting all of these, including the chest itself, to make sure that I know later in the future that I have actually finished that. Again, using it offensively. Okay, okay. Maybe I should just do this instead. Let's get some special enemies down here too. Lizard, they're called. And this place is the Lizard Temple. Really want to watch out for them. They're going to do a number on me, and they spawn incessantly. So I'm going to be trying to take out as many traps as possible. Just, like, break them, whatever. I'll be a little bit more thorough later on. But right now, just making sure that I'm not about to get killed by them is enough. Yeah. Yeah, almost got by the torch thing again. Good, good. I'm gonna want to probably junk a lot of this stuff though. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, junk a lot of this sort of stuff because I don't really need it right now. Non-chlorophyte bullets. This is exactly what you were made for, literally and figuratively. Okay. Yeah. What? Incessant spawning. What do they say in what do they say in Hollow Knight? God damn. That's kind of the hard part about going through here. There's just so many enemies and it's hard to get around them. Alright, here. How about this then? Much easier. Well, they don't have quite the same like level of magic using ability, so that does help too. Well, I do want to get out of there before they start to... before they start to like load back up their numbers. Because those guys appear a lot, and they don't stop for anything. Hey, summons the Eclipse. Fun stuff. Not going to be doing that if I can avoid it. Wow, come on, man. Ah, damn. All right, anything else? Anything else? Here. They can't get up here, so I get, you know, it's like this is kind of the best way to take care of the many, many lizards that you're going to be encountering. After you start to get some of the banners, it becomes a little bit easier, but, you know, that's just kind of how it goes for everything. You get very fast once they get on all fours. Not your problem. Okay. Yeah, and I'll give them this for something that has existed in this game for the entire time. They actually made this like surprisingly difficult little late game challenge to get through here. And it's like you could always see the like entrance to this place. It's just it's not until now that you can really get in, or unless you do some really some real shenanigans to make it happen. If I didn't take out those, it would be even more difficult. No, that's a mimic. Yeah, it's like, what is a regular chest doing in here? What? Oh, I accidentally hooked the ground instead of hooking the ceiling like I was trying to. Okay, yeah, make sure that none of this is going to actually activate. Okay. No, not into the spikes. And that is clearly a mimic because it is not even, it is halfway through the wall. Come on, you're not going to fool anybody. Okay. Okay. Quite rough, but at the same time, I'm alive for now. The funny thing is that the boss at the end of this is actually a total pushover, so I should hopefully be able to beat him on my first try, but we'll kind of see how that happens. Should have done that first. Should make sure that I'm disabling the traps as much as possible, because, oh man, I do really need to not get hit by this stuff, you know? It is a lot of extra damage that I'm taking being a little bit too quick trying to go through here. At the same time, usually the spawn rate, like I said, is out of control, so I don't really want to stick around in one area for too long. All right, good. Yeah, thanks. Couldn't see that or anything, you know? Oh man, these fairies are relentless, aren't they? Oh, come on, where do you even come from? Oh, there's so many lizards. Too many toasters of lizards. Get both of the yo-yos out here. Take care of them nice and quick. Oh, come on. It's like this is the end of the temple. I just got to get here. Well, eventually my potions will be... you won't have any more potion sickness, and then I can just get back to close-ish to full health, and then it'll be much easier to deal with this area. Nope, there are still definitely tons and tons of these guys in here. That will actually be very good. Because now on the onslaught of all the lizards, instead I can kill them much easier, although I really am going to have to watch out for the huge amount of traps in this room too. Okay. All right. Just a couple more. Take you out too, and then a little bit more. So we got the lizard altar, which one of the things I've been picking up with all the many what would you call them, chests around here are lizard power cells. You use them at the altar, and does it summon a boss? I mean, come on, do you even have to ask that anymore? Everything you do in the game is very much based around bosses and summoning them, and doing that many times. Good. Was one more. Do that again. And now, okay. I mean, I could just try to fight this thing right now. Probably be successful. And in fact, that might be what I just decide to do. I don't really need that. We'll take that to make sure I can see a little bit better. Don't need that. I'll keep that stuff, and then let's just full on... Well, not those. Nor archery potions. Yeah? Yeah, just, like, set up one of you. One of you. I'm not even going to worry about, like, everything else. But this should be good, I think. I can only hope. Like I said, the boss is not super... Oh, come on. The boss is not super tough. It's just, everything else that spawned in here is really giving me a run for my money. Okay, good. We good. One more of those solar tablet fragments if I want to summon the... If I want to summon the eclipse endlessly, and then... There it is, the Golem. Which, as you can see, is a very threatening type of character. Those lizards, though, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of. Out. You know, when he gets himself kind of in the corner like that, that maybe is a little bit more difficult to deal with. He was supposed to have been changed up with like the latest, with the Journey's End to do a little bit more or something, but not so much. Get out. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the banner active here either, which is kind of a little bit of an issue. Yeah, even like a slight amount of knockback against the fists will kind of will prevent them from hitting you, so you can kind of keep them at bay very easily. Now the head itself, on the other hand, does kind of come out. Does kind of come with the issue of the head itself does kind of come with the issue of shooting fireballs at you, but as long as I'm paying attention. Although the endless amount of enemies spawning in here is making it a little bit difficult to do stuff. Well, hey, there's like a 1% chance drop. They're going to give me more boss summon items, which is pretty cool. And when the head starts facing you, it shoots off lasers. Look out for that. Making it slightly more difficult, but not too much more difficult. Still, you know, the ad battle is a little bit rougher to kind of deal with. And then there's one more final phase wherein it detaches the head, continues shooting at you, continues jumping around too, which is actually a little bit rough to kind of deal with, but I'm still... get out! Get out with all the freaking enemies that are spawning in here. Oh, I'm out of Chlorophyte bullets. Down to only using the crystal stuff. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to aiming, but it should be totally okay nonetheless. God, the amount of enemies that are spawning in here, I can't deal with that. There's so many. Ah, man. Got him with the old 3 flying snakes. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Well, anyway, it should go without saying that the subsequent attempt was much better, especially after I set up a couple sets of these flesh platforms, because the Golem jumps around a lot. Can't jump up here, but this setup will allow me to pretty trivially jump over its head and kind of negate the whole leaping around attack that it has. That combined with the Mega Shark's knockback, preventing him from punching me at all. The only thing I really have to worry about is the fireballs that it's spitting out, at least for this phase. I mean, even with Chlorophyte bullets, the many ads that are getting summoned are not going to be nearly as big of a deal. Though it is kind of distracting from getting DPS in on the boss. Yeah, Golem, like I said, pretty trivial. It's... By the time you encounter this dude, he was supposed to have been changed up in this latest patch, but the only thing that I've noticed is that he got a little bit of a paint job, I suppose. He didn't have that sun symbol on his head or chest prior to this update. But aside from that, it's like as trivial as ever. All right, the lasers actually do start to become a little bit more of an issue, but as long as, I guess it's not, you know, circling around the boss in the same way that I was doing with, say, Skeletron, but doing a half circle, it's still pretty trivial to dodge. And even though it starts shooting me much, much faster, I can still deal with that fine. I mean, the way that I usually attempt working with the lasers is just wait until it shoots at me on the ground or hover in the air until it shoots at me and then either fly up or fly down, respectively. Then it has a lot of trouble actually hitting you since it shoots directly at you. Fireballs become a little bit more of an issue as you have to dodge around more, but still, it's like, yeah, that's the Golem. And the Golem does drop a whole lot of good stuff, which is why, I mean, it's good that I have so much ability to summon him. For example, the cosmetic item. I mean, why mess around with the rock Golem face when I can get the proper Golem face? The shiny stone increases life regen an awful lot, which means I can... You do have to be standing still to use it, but it does mean that I don't have to just continuously use all my potions all the time. And beetle husks for creating some wings, creating like the upper tier of melee items. And then, of course, I summon the boss immediately again, because that's kind of how it goes. Well, anyway, the other thing that happened was I was able to find the crimson chest that I was looking for before. It was really tucked away in this dungeon, but I finally got the new item that it affords me, the vampire knives, a ranged melee item that allows me to... It has a life steal on every single hit. In previous versions of the game, very overpowered. These days, not so much. It's gotten nerfed a lot. Also get to see some of the new frustrating enemies that I didn't really get to see in my first couple forays into here. The Diabolist is terrible and also teleports around a lot like the other ones. Well, hey, the tactical shotgun that I picked up in here is not only a good upgrade to the Mega Shark, but also makes short work until I die.